All right.
Time for stretch core and more. Now I say this every time. This will probably be my last class on that platform, on this platform, but I'm still just generating the data, working on getting the muscle in place to have this regular class, getting into the routine. And so I'll leave this content up online for months to come. And then once I have my thumb on the pulse of how to use these new programs, then this class will go away on this platform. But this class will live on in eternity on the YouTube sphere. All right, so let's start off with our stretch, then we'll get into a little bit of core and a little bit of more. All right, starting with the fingers. Been online since early this morning. Probably got a little tension in the wrists, doing some wrist rolls, some finger stretches, tight fist. All right, now let's take a moment, get into some high knees, get the blood flowing, get our CNS online, so our central nervous system, coordinating between left, right, right, left. Get a few more. And if you watch my lower back, you can tell that I'm not bending at all. I'm using my hip flexors to get that knee high. So no slump, no slump, false spine. All right. Into some heel taps, shaking out the hips, warming up our glutes. We've been sitting down all day, perhaps. It's not me. Some of us, though. And I don't have to get to the foot. I'm just bringing that heel up, a little hacky sack motion. And as you can tell, my lower back is too tall. A couple more. And we'll switch it back to the knee and ankle. Coordinating. Right, left. Warming up the tissues, making them more pliable and easier to stretch. Now I'll start to breathe, Mark. Hey, how about that? Working on breath. Inhale through the nose, from the mouth. A few more. All right. Now getting into some just static stretches. Work our shoulders back, lifting our chest up, tightening up our core, squeezing our glutes. Finding that back extension. Breathe in the nose, out the mouth. In through the nose. One more deep breath. All right, taking the hands to the shins or to the thighs. Into a Romanian stretch. Pushing the thighs away, keeping a nice flat posture in the spine. All right. Working back up through standing, getting a nice neck stretch. Keeping our knees forward. I'm gonna turn and look out over my left shoulder. Big breath into the chest, into the stomach. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Out over that right shoulder. Inhale. back through center. Stretching the left arm down, dropping the right ear over towards the right shoulder, taking the eye focal point up and to the left. Keep breathing. Taking the left hand to the left hip, right arm out to the side, left ear over, eyes up and to the right. Deep breath in. Relax. Getting into some 10 hut exercise, bringing the forearms towards each other. Inhale. Exhale. Keep going. Getting into some arm circles. Taking it back the other way. Relax. Working ourselves into a lateral bend, taking left arm overhead. Relax. Switching sides, right arm overhead. All right, relax. Working our left arm across, taking right hand underneath left forearm, keeping the knees forward, turning my chest. Relax. Taking left arm underneath, right arm across. All right, so before we get into our core, I think we do a little bit of more. Working into some mobility exercises. This one right here, A-frame, it's one of my favorite. Taking it from the CrossFit tradition. I'm going to find that nice flat posture and inhale up. Exhale over. Down. Let's get 5 on each side. Inhale up. Exhale over. Inhale up. Exhale over. Inhale up. Exhale over. Exhale over. Inhale up. Exhale over. Inhale up. Exhale over. Inhale up. Exhale over. Inhale up. Exhale over. Last one. This particular one's a little bit difficult. I might not get it all the way in your first try. Work myself down into a nice lunge. And this might be it. This might be the extent of your ability, and that's okay. I might just work down and stretch. But piggybacking on that same exercise we just did, this is called World's Greatest. I can stay here. And in yoga, this is revolving side angle. I can lift on up. Again, I can stay, or I can do the repetition where I drop down and I come up. I drop down. I come up. Let's get 5 more. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Up. Exhaling down. One more. Inhale up. Exhale down. Press back. So this one's a modification on single leg splits. Bowing warrior. A little counter pose. Maybe we stretch out the toes. Shake out the ankle. Go ahead and press back into hero's pose. Hero's pose. I'm getting the mobility in my knees, practicing sitting back over my heels. This might not be possible. You might need to do toes under. That's sometimes way harder. So feel it out. You know, if we were to lay down, this would be narrow knee child's pose. Hero pose, sitting right here. The meditation stance of samurai warrior. And in yoga, we always have these warrior poses. This one right here, I'm specifically focusing on my patellar tendon, quadriceps, but also the dorsal compartment of the ankle. So this is the top surface of the ankle. Let's be here for a few more breaths. All right. And that other side, World's Greatest. Inhaling out. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. 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 Exhaling down. All right, pressing back into that warrior. Stretching back. Coming around to a seat. Getting into some of that core. Now with our first core exercise, we're going to practice boat pose. Now this is mostly just to introduce this pose as the opposite of plank. This is a way for you to get a static hold in your abdomen without burning up your shoulder and collarbone. So holding on is where I start. I start to get a little bit more advanced. I'll stretch out the arms, squeezing the knees together. So I've got a static crunch. For my most advanced students, if you want to impress me, you can go into the full boat. And what's great about boat, it's a natural lead into rowing crunches. You can always do low boat to high boat, or hold low boat. After you've given this a serious try, take a little break, bringing the soles of the feet together in butterfly. I'm stretching my hips out. I always like to break up my core exercises with a very nice stretch break in between every couple or so. Now, with our rowing crunch, just to summarize, we can always use the hands. We can always use the forearms. Still a really tough and challenging exercise. One of my favorites to go to, but it's really tough with a lower back injury. So not always the best exercise possible for those of you with lumbar injury, spinal injury. Next exercise, our half V up, taking the arms back, crunching on in, taking the arms back, crunching on in. Again, I can do a static hold here. I really want to have that tension. Do a couple more. I'm going to encourage you to practice this every week, maybe 2 or 3 sets of 10, 1 or 2 days a week. If you're a real psycho like me, you can do this 3 or 4 times a week without consequence. And we'll relax. So as we move around the core, I like to give the neck a break when it's active. So it was just active, so now let it be passive. So bridge pose, another excellent stretch and workout. Reach out to see if I can touch my heels, and then I lift my hips. I can make this a static hold. Or I can do repetitions. Do a few of these. Let's try a couple where we hold it for a 1, 2, 3, drop. Lifting up. 1, 2, 3, drop. Coming back to a nice little stretch. Let the arms casually, or legs gently fall over to the right. And then one leg at a time, slowly working back through center. We'll let the legs gently fall over to the left. Hop, maybe. Knees back through center. Take the knees in some gentle circles a few times, counterclockwise. A few times clockwise. Now we're going to check out toe taps or floor taps. This is a Pilates exercise where I crunch, I bring in, crunch, I bring in. This is the first step in learning how to do successful reverse crunches. Practice getting comfy, doing a lot at the hip, a little bit at the stomach. When I want to get deeper into the stomach, I'll take the feet down, knees in, feet down, knees in. Now this one, if you have chronic lower back pain, it's probably not for you. You might stick with that half V up because then my lower back's nice and flat. I'm working up. I can do that same exercise. Bow legs up crunches. Again, the lower back's neutralized. I'm hitting the core. Reverse crunch, the knees come to you. And then the floor taps are the safest. Still challenging, still very challenging. All right. So we've introduced some cool new core exercises. Let's take a moment and bring back the stretch. working crisscross, applesauce. 3 seated windmills going clockwise with our breath. Or 3 seated windmills going counterclockwise. All right. We'll work on interlacing the fingers behind the hips, finding a chest expansion and then a corresponding chest expansion pendulum swing. Give ourselves a hug. Left arm on top. So getting a little rotator cuff stretch. Right arm on top. Getting a big rotator cuff stretch. Work down the hands and knees. All right. I'm sure you can actually see my wrists. So we'll start in tabletop. Our shoulders over the wrists. Take left hand, turn it around, stretching the flexor compartment of the forearm. Careful not to put too much weight into it if this is your first time doing this stretch. Switching sides. Check it out. Next, I'm going to turn this wrist, left wrist over, and rotate the elbow. Ooh, stretching the posterior compartment of the forearm. You might need to do that one slowly and in repetitions. I know I'm tight. And switch. Sitting back on the tiptoes, let's press those fingers out. Reach on up. Practice standing up in this way. And we'll end with our wall stretch. So with this one, taking my hand up against the wall, so trying to get to my shoulder height. I'll turn my body. So tight. Relax. Whole hand stretched out. Relax. Again, roll out the wrists. And let's do the ankles now this time too. Let's do the hokey pokey. Taking that right foot out, doing some gentle circles. First all one direction. Focus in the eyes, working your balance. Take those circles back the other way. Carefully switching sides. Left circle. Back the other way. Shake it out. All right. Thank you for those of you who have tuned in, and to all those who will tune in the future. As always, if you have questions, leave me comments in the comments section or email me at barton.firch@teamexos.com. That's BARTON.firch, FIRCH, @TEAMEXOS.com. All right. Take care of yourself.